The Pistons are the basketball champions of the world.
Detroit, it's time. It's playoff time, Detroit. Let's go to work.
Shout out Detroit. I got to buff up, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, I'm all the way in. Detroit Pistons, I'm all the way in. Let's do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Buff Sound Podcast. We are the best POD in the 313. We got three of us here today. Connie can't make it. Valley's here. Gabe is here. And we are talking the Piston schedule. It was released yesterday. We've had a few dates circled on our calendar since yesterday, so we're bringing them to you guys now. I think we all know the first date that we all have circled on our calendar. So, Valley, I hand it over to you. What is that date that you have circled on your calendar?
It's October 22nd. Make sure you're all free around 8 p.m. Eastern time, around that time, because the Pistons are going to be in Chicago playing the Bulls. And there's several reasons why. Obviously, this is the first game I listed as a game I'm keeping an eye out for, and just in general, keeping an eye out for. But let me get into some of those reasons as to why I think this is going to be such an exciting game. First and foremost, the Pistons will be playing basketball. I don't want to skip over any kind of fact, any more hidden details. We're playing basketball. That's the reason this is the game I'm most excited for. But I want to take you back in time to February 11th, when the Pistons had back-to-back games in the city of Chicago, and they actually won a game 132-92. They were leading 71-29 at one point in this game. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. But I say that for a reason, because we showed something in that game. What we showed is that we're a different level than, air quotations, the lower tier. We're no longer in that tier. That's what we showed last season. And coming out of the gates this year, I think we need to set the tone that we are serious about being, hey, top four, maybe a top four, top five seed, and winning a playoff series. We're looking to make moves and improve this year despite some roster shakeup. I think it's really important to come out and set the tone for the season. I don't want this to be a loss, obviously. I would prefer it not to be a close game in any kind of capacity. I would love this to be a game where the Pistons do the exact same thing, where it's men against boys, it's varsity versus JV, and there's just everything you're looking for. I also want to note that it's just really important to start the season with a victory. Seeing that 1-0. And I think looking down, I don't know if we're allowed to look into the schedule a little bit. It's not the easiest start to the season, arguably after Chicago. Really important to win the game that you're expected to. You go to Houston right after. Really important to win. Interesting to look out for the chemistry with the new faces. Obviously, we're going to see, health aside, we're going to be seeing Duncan Robinson. Really interested to see how these new faces fit in. So I just kind of like one important thing, I guess, my conclusion from the end of these games that I'm looking for. Will the Pistons come out and show improvement, and will they lightly handle the Bulls? Which is what the expectation is coming into the season. Set the tone. You're going to be a team in the playoffs hosting a series this year. Those are your ambitions. Show that those are your ambitions.
I'm excited for it too. Matas versus Ron Holland will be a very fun opening night matchup. Gabe, your thoughts on the Pistons taking on the Bulls on opening night?
Is this the home opener or is this just the season opener?
Just the season opener.
Okay, yeah, I think this should be like Valley said. Of course, I'll be tuning in at whatever time that is in Europe. But yeah, it should be a win. Should be a free win. And like Valley said, to start the season, last season we were 2-1. Things didn't go too good from there, but this season, if we start hot, I think this team thinks they're good. I think we know they're good, and if they start 1-0 and we don't drop below 500 from there, well, watch out because momentum could be on our side.
It was a rocky start to the season last year for sure, but they turned it around really quickly. Any other thoughts on the opening night matchup before we move into the second pick?
I mean, you feeling we're taking care of business? I know it's ways out. We don't know.
Oh, we're taking care of business. I mean,
there's no way Bulls are winning that game.
I mean, I would hope not. I think that this is a game where, like, if you're gonna, like you were saying, Valley, if we're gonna be a top 4, top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference, there are games that you need to take care of, and this is most certainly one of those games. The Bulls aren't, they have talent on their roster, not to knock the talent that they have there. But like you said, we handled them pretty easily in one of, if not both of those games before the All-Star break on that back-to-back. So this is the game we need to win. This is the game we need to take care of. And like you said, momentum is key, especially going on to face a very prominent Western Conference team in the Rockets right after that. And then coming home for my first pick, which is the home opener against the Boston Celtics. It's a Sunday matinee game, I believe, 3 o'clock. But I know LCA is going to be rocking. And coming off of after last season, I'm so excited to see what I went to opening night last year. It wasn't as packed as I thought it would be. So I'm going to try to make my way out this year and really enjoy the electricity that's going to be in that arena, because I was there for game 4. Was it game 4? No, I was there game 4, game 5 last year when the Tim Hardaway Jr. foul happened. I can't let that be the last. It's bothering me. That was the last time I was at LCA. I don't like it. I just don't like it, guys. So I got to change that. And we're going to face the Boston Celtics team that is going to be without Jason Tatum. We beat Boston last year, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this team fares against Boston, how Boston looks without JT or KP. So if the Pistons can maybe rack a win there, that could be a huge player in that momentum that we were talking about. Gabe, you're first on my screen. Your thoughts on the home opener against the Celtics?
Huge game, huge game. Wish I could be there as well. And quickly, one more thing about our actual season openers, the Javonte Green revenge game as well.
Oh yeah,
Had to mention that.
he dropped a 40.
But yeah, this Boston team, they're gonna come in. I think they're gonna take a lot of threes, obviously, but I think their offense might literally just be taking every three every single possession because they don't really have anything else. They have no bigs on their roster, so I expect Duran, if he wants to play, he has to absolutely dominate inside, and then be able to stay with whoever is out there on the perimeter at their 5 position. But man, that's going to be an awesome game. I think it's going to be super high scoring because they kind of traded away / lost their defenders to injury. So that's going to be an exciting game. And I always love to hear Brian Scalabrine commentate the Pistons because he is a fan of Cade Nassar and this team in general. So, he's one of the few commentators that actually enjoy watching the opposing team's feed. And then another huge thing for me, I love hearing George Blaha say it's a Sunday matinee at LCA. One of my favorite quotes from him. But that's really all for me on that game. It's just going to be awesome to have that energy back in Detroit once again. And hopefully we come in there 2-0.
Hopefully that would be sweet. Another season of George Blaha will be very fun for those of us who do enjoy hearing his voice every night of NBA basketball. No Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, or Kristaps Porzingis, or Luke Cornett for the Boston Celtics returning this year. But Valley, your thoughts?
Or Al Horford.
Or Al Horford, yeah. They lost a lot of players, so it'll be an interesting matchup. But Valley, your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, it's a really interesting roster over there in Boston. They still have Anthony Simons currently. I know they're looking to explore trade packages, but I think they've had a lack of interest for Anthony Simons. So really interesting to see what we're going to see with Boston. It could be a really fast 3-point shooting team, which, like you said, Gabe, which has been kind of our demise in the past. So that's interesting, an interesting game to see how look for. It is a Sunday matinee. I thought that was a really interesting home opener. I have a point about that in my next game that I'm going to talk about. But I thought that was just interesting, and I want to see how the crowd really reacts, how Detroit reacts. Going to be great. Give them that welcome back. I guess it'll be a really warm welcome. But again, going as to my point from the game against Chicago, the opener, we don't really know what to expect from Boston. But I think I'm hearing is an assumption, a general consensus from what I've seen is people predict Boston to still finish above us. Boston's still expected to be a high seeded. And fair enough. You can't hate that. You can't be upset about that at all. But what you can do is show that you're better than them. And I think the Pistons have the potential to be better than the Celtics. And again, this is a similar thing where it's like, set the tone. You're going to be playing in an absolutely rowdy stadium. Obviously, we know what is going on with the Celtics roster right now, and we know that their best player is not available to them. a really interesting matchup in many different ways. And again, I just want to show that like we are for real. We are the real deal. Our first three games, a test, beat the team you should beat, and then and then you go to Houston to play a team that's wanting to win the title. Their schedule release, by the way, Houston's video, the worst thing I've ever seen. If you have free time, check it out. Horrible stuff. And then, you're home against Boston, and then we'll get into the next game. But a really, really big test in every single game that we're seeing here in the first couple of games.
For sure, for sure. Will be a fun matchup. Gabe, your first pick that you have
Ooh.
circled. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I have one thing to say about the Celtics and a player in particular. I don't know if you guys saw it. Jaylen Brown has been streaming on Twitch a lot of his workouts over the summer, and I saw a clip on Reddit. He was just doing a basic drill, left hand layup, missed the layup, and then his chat is just flaming him for missing a wide open left handed layup, which is very typical of Jaylen Brown, I should say.
I think we need Killian Hayes to live stream his right-handed layup, and we'll have a competition with him and Jaylen Brown. Gabe, your thoughts? Or the first date you have circled on your calendar for this season?
Yeah, I'm actually taking us back once again to playing at Houston, because for me, like Valley mentioned, like we all agree with, Chicago probably won't be a competitive game. At least that's what we're
the assumption.
thinking. And so you go into Houston, who just acquired KD, who are off also their first playoff run with this young core that they have. And this is like a recent rival, I guess. They don't no longer have Jalen Green, so I think we know who won that battle between him and Cade. But
Was it ever really a battle?
these guys are a great team. They're really tough. They're really big, and they match us really well athletically. And of course, they have KD. So for me, this is just going to be an awesome game to watch. Of course, the twins playing each other. It's going to be really athletic. There's going to be a lot of rebounds. There's going to be a lot of defense. I think this could be a low-scoring affair, but this is just one of those games that I absolutely love to watch, and I can never turn down an opportunity to watch KD. And especially, I mean, it's probably going to be against the Ausar, right? And just see how Ausar does with that challenge. If you learn anything from Jalen Brunson last year, how to guard these kind of slower, in quotation marks, really savvy, skilled players. Of course, KD is a good foot taller than Brunson. But I think it's just going to be an awesome game to watch competitive-wise and see where we're at. As a comparison between the Bulls and the Rockets, are we going to kill the Bulls, lose to the Rockets? Are we going to lose both? Who knows, right? I just want to see, because this I think will be a great game to see where we're at competitively, like the game we just talked about versus Boston. I think Houston is the best team of those three, and I think we have an opportunity to show that we are maybe not in the long run this season better than Houston, but we're at their level competitively.
Yeah, lots of fun games to open the season for the Pistons. Valley, your thoughts on that matchup in Houston?
I love a matchup in Houston, by the way, or just against Houston in general. I was just watching literally last night. Cade Cunningham last season happened to be in Houston that time. In the third quarter of his highlights, I don't know if you guys remember that, he was just unconscious. I think he ended up dropping like 20 or something in the quarter, hit a buzzer beater. And you just look back. Obviously, they had Jalen Green, which he tried to make it to a rivalry on his end. But there was always a little something between Houston. It always feels like it, with the way our timelines have kind of lined up. Obviously, they had Jalen Green, like I just said, but he sucks. But you still have the twin matchup right there. You still have a lot of excitement and a lot of history between these two teams. It's going to be a super fun game. And Gabe, again, right on the money. You get to watch Kevin Durant, and the years of watching Kevin Durant, but like look back and like the years are winding down. So you got to appreciate the bucket getting at all times. It will be a great test. Obviously, Cade, KD, the respect, the relationship is there between those two. If we are able to come back into Detroit, though, on that Sunday matinee with a 2-0 schedule, with a 2-0 record, oh man, I don't even know. I mean, you might have to bring some noise canceling giant headphones that like the people on the lawnmowers use or something, dude.
Oh, for sure.
You're gonna have to figure something out that doesn't make you lose an eardrum, man.
For sure.
The potential's there. The potential's really there to start the season, and if we beat, a team that's, I think a lot of people are expecting to be in the championship race, and they're in contention for the championship, Houston, certainly to make noise at the very least. You beat them, and all of a sudden, huge chip on our shoulders if there isn't already for what we've been through. And the sky's the limit.
Oh, for sure. And I wanted to kind of
Throw
go.
one
Oh,
more.
go ahead.
Just a real quick point. We also have the Reed Shepard versus Denise Jenkins rematch in that game as well.
Yeah, we do, and it's
Yes, we will
Mark
see. I'm sorry.
Marcus Sasser returning back to Houston. What else you got, Valley?
Just that it's going to be a blowout. We're going to be up by like 30, so Denise Jenkins will get the chance to play.
If that happens, I will be very, very happy. I kind of wanted to go a little bit more in order, but we talked a little bit too much about the Pistons and Rockets rivalry for me not to go here with this one on the segue. But the Pistons do play the Rockets in rivalry week on January 23rd. The Rockets will be coming to Detroit, and we will be. I believe the game is on Prime. I will have to double check that, but the NBA still has the Pistons and the Rockets as a rivalry. So yes, it is on Prime. And with that, I'll continue my segue. The Pistons have 16 nationally televised games this year that are either on national TV or on major streaming platforms. It's a huge jump from the 0 or 1 that we have been getting in seasons past. But your guys' thoughts on finally getting some nationally televised games?
I've got an I want an asterisk by this because I understand they're major streaming platforms, but it just doesn't hit the same when it doesn't say and I know that it's not TNT anymore, but it doesn't just say ESPN or TNT, you know? It just feels a little weird with it being on a streaming platform, but like it almost feels like an inflated statistic now. But I'll take it, man. I'll take it. And I guess that is the era that we live in. So I'll definitely take it, and it's great to see.
Yep. Go ahead.
I agree, but I think it's a bit of an inflated statistic because there are more options now to have national games. So I think there's more games to go around, which naturally means teams will have more games. But yeah, I think it's still really cool. I know Orlando saw a big jump as well. I don't know who's watching that. But I'm gonna be watching these games the same place anyway. I won't say where or how, but I think we all know.
Yeah, we got an idea. I'll give the breakdown that I have over on the podcast Instagram. Actually, anywhere that we have, you can find us. I have it there if you want to look at it yourself and save it for future reference. The Pistons have 4 games on ESPN. We have, I believe, 6 games on Peacock. Yep, 6 games on Peacock itself. 2 games on NBC and 4 games on Prime. So that adds up to your 16. So, like you guys said, a little bit of an inflated statistic, but 4 games on ESPN is still way more than we've ever had in seasons past. So, I draw us back to Valley. What is the second date you have circled on your calendar for the upcoming season?
We're not really moving fast in terms of the schedule.
We're not.
I promise it will after this one. But it just so happens to be our 4th game in the season. But there's more reasons other than it being our 4th game of the season, although it would be a test to see how we do in our first 3 games. But we host the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I kind of put this in quotations as well. This is our official home opener because although it's going to be a sellout crowd on Sunday, it's a Sunday at 2 o'clock. You know, it doesn't really feel like a night of basketball. Whereas this Monday night, I really do think it will be that. We're on national TV. You know, the people who didn't get the chance to pay extra, I guess I would assume they're more for opening night tickets. Get another chance this game. It is going to be absolutely rowdy in there if it wasn't already on Sunday. If we go into this game 3-0, it's going to be rowdy. Have to acknowledge this is JB's former team. Always a little something there. Just want to acknowledge it. But I think I picked the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I guess I could have picked any game against them because it's going to show where this team is. If you recall last year, again, our games against the Cleveland Cavaliers were all they got closer and closer by the game over the 4 games that we played them. Obviously, we had some heartbreakers against them, some good basketball games that we played that we just came up short. Last year, the performances got better versus the Cavs, but can we keep getting better? Can we get a win on national TV? Give us that early stamp of approval. I think obviously if we have some wins under our belt, us Pistons fan will have that stamp of approval, but the media recognition, that media stamp, I think an important, potentially emotional and rowdy game like this, that's where you're going to see the importance of the veterans. And we have new faces, new veterans on this team. I think that'll be important. My big point from this game right here is, will the young and hungry Pistons finally have what it takes to take down Cleveland? Have we reached that point where we can dismantle the Cavaliers? I think it might be the year, and I think the crowd might have to be that sixth man that gets us there, but it could be the year.
Yep, even with the crowd, it will still be 6 versus 8. But the Pistons do have a big test there, and it's the Karis LeVert revenge game, so that will be a fun watch. Gabe, your thoughts on the Pistons versus Cavs on again, and this is also on a back-to-back from the home opener that Valley alluded to. So will be an interesting matchup. But Gabe, your thoughts?
Yeah, before I get into the game, I know last year we had a lot of back-to-backs. Do you guys know? Did you check? Is it the same this year? Do we lead the league in?
We do not lead the league. I believe the most in the league is 16. We are in the middle of the pack at 14.
That's
Okay.
how you know we're getting respect. When they used to have 4 games in 5 nights, I swear we won that. We got that twice in a row, like back-to-back years, most 4 games in 5 nights. And I've always just had the assumption that that's how it is for us. So it's good to hear we moved up
Move down.
or moved down.
But yeah, I really like to watch good basketball every time it gets to the playoffs. I'm reminded how much more fun it is. So to see a really good Cleveland offense, an elite offense against us is just going to be awesome to watch. I think Evan Mobley is going to come and be a really good player next year. I think he's going to kind of take that leap. So I just want to see him versus Jalen Duren. I know they're not always going to be on each other, but I'd love to see these two kind of unicorn like bigs, even though Duren is still a bit under the radar in that category. And then Asar Thompson versus Mitchell is going to be awesome. The pure athleticism from both those guys. Maybe Ivy has some time on him, but I think it's going to be another. Honestly, I don't think we win this game. If I'm gonna be real, I think. Excuse me. Cleveland, after their playoff loss last year, is going to come on really hungry. They started awesome last year, and I think it's going to be much the same. And I think they're kind of going to put down their foot to show they're still the best team in the Eastern Conference. Doesn't mean I don't think it's going to be an awesome game, awesome to watch in a close game. I do think we're going to lose this, but I guess it kind of leads into the next game is how do you respond from a loss to a good team if we do lose this? It's just going to be great basketball. I'm excited to watch this game, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon.
For sure. And continuing that chronological order that we were kind of been going on, this isn't the game I really have circled, but it's a game of note. The Pistons will only have 40 home games this year because one of them will be in Mexico City when the Pistons take on the Dallas Mavericks on November 1st. But Gabe, what is the second date that you have circled on your calendar?
Yeah, I'm going to bring us up a little bit past Thanksgiving here to November 28th. And we're home versus the Magic on this game. This is the final NBA Cup game. Will be the second time we see Orlando this season. But this one I think will just have a little bit more juice because it is the last group stage game of the NBA Cup. And if we do, we play kind of weak teams. I think our group we saw before. So if we are 3-0, Magic are expected to be pretty good. If there's 3-0 coming in, this will be a really juicy game with a lot of stakes on the line. And it's another team, like you mentioned earlier, Valley, where people say Orlando's, their win total is like 50.5. Like, I just don't see how they can be a better team than us. So I really want to see this matchup. They're a big team. They can't shoot. I know they got one shooter that they added, but it does not mean your team can shoot. And it's just going to be a hard game. I think there's a lot of length. Last year, Cade struggled with a lot of length at times. I want to see if he takes a step. That'll also be a thing in the Cleveland game I'm going to watch. I just want to see, the Cade versus Paolo discussion. I feel like Paolo's kind of ahead of him in the main NBA discussion course. I think NBA fans who are more like the Reddit people kind of see Cade as a top. So I think this will be. I don't know. I didn't see if this was a national game, um, but to have the Cade versus Paolo superstar matchup, see who is the top dog in the East behind Giannis, will be exciting to watch, and I think it will be a really this will be like a classic, almost like the Houston game where it's two teams kind of like beating each other up a little bit.
For
I knew,
sure, for sure.
I knew you would pick this game because you're the biggest Magic hater I know, Gabe. I'm here for it though. I do think this will be a really fun game. We've had, I don't know, similarly with Houston, I think we've had a similar timeline in terms of a rebuild with Orlando, but obviously they got off to winning much earlier than us. Um, but there's always been something there. I think back to Killian hitting Wagner in the back of the head. I just think back to playing them 3, 4 times a season. Obviously just in the nature of it, it comes with some competitiveness between two organizations. But the youth, I think, will definitely spark this up, and I do think the Cade Paolo, I could see. I don't know. I don't really think Cade will initiate anything, but I also just happened to watch a TikTok of Paolo beefing with Ty Jerome when he was on the Cleveland Cavaliers for no reason, like just for no reason. So I could see some initiative there for them to get going. Some media pushed beef between the two of them. But Paolo's a great player, man, and I think Cade's a great player, and I think they're just gonna duke it out. I know that the last time Paolo hit one of his stupid game winners against us, he gave Cade his flowers. He gave Cade his flowers the last time they played. So yeah, I think super fun. I think Corey Joseph is still in that roster. I always love it, smirking a little bit when I see Kojo still pounding a ball as hard as he possibly can on the court. But yeah, should be a fun one. Two really evenly matched teams. I think this could be a 4-5 matchup, 3-6 matchup going into the playoffs. Super fun one.
For sure. Going back to Gabe's question, no, it is not a nationally televised game. For those wondering, the first time the Pistons do play Orlando, because I know we all want to see Jaden Ivey get his revenge, is October 29th. And then Gabe also mentioned that this is the final NBA Cup game for the Pistons. The other three coming on November 7th against Brooklyn, November 14th against the Sixers, November 26th against Boston, and then, as Gabe mentioned, the 28th against the Magic. The next day I have circled on my calendar is, and it's a quick point here. I just, like I said, last time I was at LCA, we got screwed on the Tim Hardaway Jr. foul. I can't wait for the Knicks to come back to LCA on January 5th. I think it's just going to be a fun atmosphere where we're going to have Stu and Ivy, and we're going to get a little glimpse of what that series would have looked like if our team was fully healthy. And I'm pretty sure we're going to take the case on that one. I'm pretty confident that the Pistons can beat the Knicks full roster. I think we could have beat the Knicks without Ivy or Stu. So with Ivy and Stu, I think it's a good win for us. But Gabe, Valley, any thoughts on the Jan 5th game against the Knicks?
The Boo Birds will be out that game every time Jalen Brunson touches the ball.
The Flopper Birds, yeah.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Gabe, Valley, whoever wants to go next on the third date that you guys have circled, or second date you have circled on your calendar.
You have two already, Gabe?
Yeah, I've done two.
Yeah. By the way, I do think the Boo Birds will be really fun to watch, and it'll be good to see how we match up with New York for similar reasons we've highlighted throughout the whole pod. Interesting to see what's going to be going on in New York. With some of their change up with Thibodeau being gone. I didn't highlight one particular game. I highlighted actually a stretch of 5 games for my last point. And that starts on December 18th and it goes until December 30th. This is the first time the Pistons are going to go on a West Coast road trip this year. They have one smaller East Coast road trip. I think that's 3 games earlier in the season, but this is their first certified road trip. And one thing about us last year was chemistry was everything. And I think this trip is the first opportunity to really bring the team to the next level with chemistry. We'll have some games under our belt. Our guys, they're working in the summer. We saw them in summer league sitting together, but our guys are going to have on-court chemistry between them, a little more familiarity between their game. But just from an off-the-court perspective, being 2 weeks out on the road, at least I imagine, really increases camaraderie. And I think one thing I want to highlight is, in quotations, I have again new leadership roles. Although there are some new faces, and some of those new faces are veteran players, I think amongst the roster that we already have put, seeing increased and new responsibilities in terms of leadership among the roster, just over the course of being on the road for 2 weeks, not being home, having to shoot around, practice in facilities that you're not familiar with. On top of that, on top of the ability to really increase chemistry off the court, the best way to increase chemistry on the court is by winning basketball games. And over the course of these 5 games, we really have a chance to make some noise. We start in Portland. We say hello to Chauncey. We go to the Sacramento, where we say hello to Dennis Schroeder. Both really winnable basketball games. And then you have the Jazz, an incredibly winnable game, before having the doubleheader in Los Angeles, playing the Clippers and the Lakers. So I think over this course of this long trip, you really have the chance to bring the team together by winning basketball games and just living life out in the West Coast as a family, pretty much that you are as the trip on the trip together, and really just increase chemistry. My highlight from this game, I think if we're to win 4 out of 5 games, it'll not only be great for the win losses, um, but to win games on a West Coast road trip with some new faces would really just like set us up at this point of the season again. I feel like I've been repeating that, but for me, like solidifying us as a team that wants to host a playoff series, that wants to win a playoff series, that wants to keep taking these big steps in the next direction. So, big chance for the Vets here, and just a big chance for the team again in general, with this big West Coast road trip.
And playing the Kings always brings back some great memories, whether it's 2 years ago when Killian Hayes hit the half-court buzzer beater, or it was last season when Jaden Ivey decided to have a 4-point play to give the Pistons the W. Gabe, your thoughts on that West Coast trip?
I didn't see the start times for those games. Are they all the earlier West Coast starts, so we watch it like 8:30 or something, or are there any 10:30 starts Eastern time zone?
Give me a second, and I can find that out for you.
Because what would be nice if like there's those real late games out west, and then I can wake up early in that European time zone, watch a 4 a.m. Pistons game with some coffee. That will hit. I can't wait.
You're going to be doing it. It is 10 p.m., 10 p.m., 9:30 p.m., and 9 p.m., and then we finish it out with the 10:30 p.m.
I will set my alarm.
That's something to look forward to. One thing I didn't realize moving to Central Time Zone as well, like it's sometimes a real stretch to like make it through the 10:30 tip-offs. Like just being that 9:30 tip-off now, I think it'll make things a lot easier to finish these games off.
When I was staying with my uncle in Dallas and tip-offs were at like 6 instead of 7, I was like, life is good, Life is good. Central Time is so much more fun.
My
Yeah.
body clock is just like run to it though. I hope I don't just start losing track of my schedule because the Pistons play 1 hour earlier now.
You might have to struggle a little bit in the beginning, but you'll get it down. You'll get it down. Gabe, what is the third stretch or game you have circled on your calendar for this upcoming season?
One game here, February 3rd, and this is probably the game if I could go to one game this year, I'd go to this game. It's exclusive to watch the Denver Nuggets come to Detroit and to watch Jokic play. I love this guy. I love watching him play.
And
in the past against our teams, he's kind of just like done whatever he wants. He clocks in for a half shift, gets everybody in foul trouble. They win by 30 points, and he goes home, right? And so I hope this year Duran learns a little bit something. He can't be as aggressive as he was last year. He really tried to play him super high, and it just did not work. You need to swarm him. You need to do everything. And I think the Nuggets are like my favorite right now. I love their additions. I think they just play beautiful basketball. And it's going to be a great matchup versus a great team. And I just love to watch that guy play. That's really the only reason I have it on this list.
And the only time Jokic cries is when horses win, and the Pistons are going to win that day. So Jokic,
Tears of sadness this time, though.
But Valley, your thoughts on that game, or if you want to stop the recording so that we can continue on a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to welcome Timmy home. Hopefully he gets a nice warm reception. Again, it's the longest stretch of the off season. I've been watching a lot of highlights from last year. And one thing I noticed is just how constantly locked in Tim Hardaway Jr. was on what's ahead of him, and that's basketball. Just always just in that mindset when he steps on the court, and I hope that's something that we can still carry over. Um, Great to watch Jokic. I don't feel like I've never seen us beat Jokic before. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just feel like it's never happened, or he doesn't play against us because it's always been a good day off for him.
Continuing on, what do you guys think about the Pistons playing on MLK Day for the first time since 2018? Oh, and welcome Connie to the pod.
Welcome, Connie. Off rip, I love it. I love that we're getting the opportunity to play on this special day. I think it's fitting. Detroit, I think amongst NBA cities has, I think, either the highest, or at least when Jeremy Grant signed, we had the largest black population by percentage for NBA cities. So I think it's fitting that we get this opportunity on this special day to play basketball, represent the NBA. Should be a fun one. Happy we get the chance, and again, it's a big game against Cleveland. Hopefully we go and get that dub. Just really quick, want to say that.
For sure, for sure. Gabe, Connie, any thoughts before we get into Connie's 3 games he's looking forward to this season?
Yeah, it's a huge honor to play on MLK Day. It's like, other than Christmas, it's like the regular season basketball day of the season. And I'm sure you guys have touched on this already, but it's a real signifier that there is like league-wide some realization and some support of the Pistons. It feels a little bit less like Detroit versus everybody this year. And there's actually some believers on board after last year's showing.
For sure, for sure. All right, moving on. Connie, throw us some of the games that you have circled on your calendar for this upcoming season.
My 3 games, I called the Point Guard Gauntlet. Playing some of the best points in the NBA. First one is Atlanta on November 18th. Not only is that the Trae Young Eastern Conference point guard matchup, it's also on NBC, and it's against the Hawks. I think the Hawks are a team that a lot of people are expecting to be swimming in similar waters as Detroit this year. So I think that'd be a good one for Cade to put his stamp on, show he's the best point guard in the East, and win a game on national television. Along with that, I like January 30th against Golden State. Again, classic. We've had this argument a lot this past year where Valley's saying the Cade's already better than Curry, and I disagreed. But this is another chance to, point guard battle. And then the last one is the point guard that's probably the most similar to Cade in that mid-range, cook 'em up style, and that's against OKC. I think we have a real fun matchup against OKC. I think we can match some of their athleticism and size and the things that they do, and this would be a really huge one to win. This is also, I guess, nationally televised. It's on Peacock, March 30th at OKC on Peacock. With my third one to close out that point guard gauntlet.
Lots of fun matchups for sure. We talked about, and you kind of hinted at it by naming the streaming platforms that these games are going to be on. But how do you feel about the Pistons being on 16 nationally televised games this season, Connie?
It's huge. Just like I was saying, it feels a little bit less like Detroit versus everybody. Some people are starting to realize what's going on. And I think it's awesome. I think it's great. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more Pistons takes on just, basketball media, just because it's going to be on more people's eyes. We're going to be seeing, is Ausar Thompson the best defender in the NBA more often? Because, just the national guys are going to see it more.
Yeah. And 14 back-to-backs this season for the Pistons. Any other notes on the schedule before?
What is that, is that a lot?
It's the most is 16, and I think the least I saw was 13.
Okay, so, yeah.
Kind of good stack. Yeah. But any other thoughts on the schedule before we get out of here?
2 of our 4 ESPN games, so the big boy certified national televised ones, are against Atlanta, which I thought was just kind of interesting. Kind of random, I kind of feel like.
That could be a 3-6. That would be fun. I think those games are going to be fun. But I always enjoy watching Cade go after Trae Young. I always feel like they provide a good game. Trae Young with the buzzer beater over us last year, stepping over Malik Beasley. So lots of memories against the Hawks. Oh, and Ausar locking up their entire roster on one possession. So that was fun.
Yeah.
But anything else we want to touch on before we get out of here? All right. Well, thank you guys for listening so much to this episode of the podcast. We really enjoyed making this one for you guys. We hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. Opening night, October 22nd, in Chicago. I know we're all counting down the days, so if someone's got that time machine, send it over so we can get to October 22nd. But until next time, throw the Buffs on, Detroit, because the future is bright.